Welcome to Nucleus. I'm Tripwire. Today we're talking about the greatest talent spotter in the history of recorded music. A Harvard lawyer who never played an instrument, got fired at the top of his game, and then went out and built an even bigger empire from scratch. Clive Davis died in June 2026 at 94, and the playbook he left behind is absolutely worth stealing. On June 22nd, 2026, the man with the golden ears stopped listening. Clive Davis died in his Manhattan apartment at 94. And a week later, a synagogue in Midtown filled up with the kind of guest list that money literally cannot buy. Bruce Springsteen, Alicia Keys, Dionne Warwick, Barry Manilow. Jennifer Hudson sang Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. Kenny G played clarinet. And the whole thing ended with Born to Run. Now, why should you, a busy professional who's never signed a single recording artist, care about a 94-year-old record executive? Because Clive Davis solved a problem you have right now. In every industry, there's one impossible judgment call that decides everything. In music, it's this: which song, which artist will people actually love? Nobody knows. Data doesn't know, focus groups don't know, and for almost 60 years, Clive Davis knew. That's the story. Let's get into it. Here's the delicious part. The greatest talent spotter in the history of recorded music did not play an instrument. He was a lawyer. Yeah, a Harvard Law School guy. Class of 1956. Davis grew up in Brooklyn, Jewish family, Crown Heights and Flatbush, and he got hit early. Both his parents died before he was fully grown. His mom when he was a teenager, his dad shortly after. That'll do something to a person. By all accounts, it left him with two things that never went away: a deep financial anxiety and a ferocious self-reliance. Orphaned kid claws his way into NYU on scholarship, then into Harvard Law. Then, in 1960, he goes in-house at Columbia Records as an attorney. He came to music through the legal department. That's like showing up to a knife fight and becoming the best chef in the building. He rises fast. By the mid-60s, he's running the label. And Columbia at that point is, how do I put this kindly? Square. Broadway cast albums. Easy listening. Music your grandparents played while doing their taxes. Then 1967 happens. Davis goes to the Monterey Pop Festival, watches a new generation of rock artists absolutely detonate on stage, and something rewires in his brain. He goes back to New York and starts signing the revolution. Janis Joplin, Santana, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Chicago. The lawyer with no musical training turns the stuffiest label in America into a rock powerhouse. And then, in 1973, at the very top of the mountain, they fire him. Publicly. Allegations he'd misused company expense funds. Now, and this matters, he was never convicted on the central charges, and to this day, the full story is disputed. But the headline was brutal. The king of the industry, tossed out. Most people never come back from that. Davis came back the next year and built a bigger kingdom. In 1974, he founds Arista Records, from scratch. This is the man's whole philosophy in one move. Take the loss of your job and turn it into the ownership of your empire. And Arista is where he proves his real thesis, which was quietly radical. Davis believed commercial success and genuine artistry were not enemies. He thought a great executive wasn't a guy signing checks. He was a creative partner. In the room, arguing about the tempo, rewriting the chorus. Exhibit A, Barry Manilow. Davis hears a song called Brandy. He tells Manilow, rework it. They fight about it. It becomes Mandy. One word change, and a career is born. At the funeral, Manilow described their entire relationship. He'd show me a song, I'd turn it down, we'd argue. I'd rearrange it, I'd record it. This went on, he said, for nearly 50 years. 50 years of professional bickering. That's not a business relationship, that's a marriage. Exhibit B is the big one. Whitney Houston, a gospel-trained young singer that Davis signed and developed with obsessive care until she became the defining voice of a generation and one of the best-selling catalogs in history. Then, and this is my favorite flex, in 1999, Davis engineers Santana's comeback album, Supernatural, pairs an aging guitar legend with a young Rob Thomas on a song called Smooth. Multiple Grammys, massive hit. The guy revived a fading career decades into his own. And notice what he invented there, the cross-generational feature, an old star plus a current one. That's the exact strategy that runs streaming today. And here's the kicker. He built J Records in the year 2000. He was 68 years old. Most people are picking out a retirement condo, and Davis is starting a new label and signing Alicia Keys, whose debut, Songs in A Minor, became a landmark. Keys said it best at the funeral. "You saw the music that was still sleeping inside me." In a world that so often reduces art to commerce and genius to product, you help align. So let's pull the 3 lessons out of this, because Davis left a genuine playbook. Lesson 1, own the critical risk. Every industry has one question that's brutally hard to answer and worth everything if you can. In music it was, which song will connect? Davis didn't dodge that risk. He ran straight at it and built repeatable, personal competence at answering the unanswerable. That made him nearly irreplaceable. Economists would call this a competency-based competitive advantage. I call it being the person everybody has to call. Your move. Find the single highest leverage judgment call in your field, the one everyone's guessing at, and become demonstrably the best at it. Not good, the best. That's a moat around your entire career. Lesson 2. Convert setbacks into ownership. When Columbia fired him in 1973, Davis didn't spend 2 years writing bitter emails. He asked a better question. What do I still have? He had a reputation, relationships, and an instinct nobody could confiscate. So he redeployed all of it, on his own terms, as an owner. The best revenge isn't living well, it's equity. When you get displaced, and you will, the move is not to replace the job. It's to ask what assets you can now put to work for yourself instead of for someone else. Lesson 3. Be a creative partner, not a check writer. This is the one people skip. Davis could have stayed in the executive suite reading spreadsheets. Instead, he was in the studio, arguing with superstars about arrangements. And here's why that's smart, not just nice. It produced better products and unbreakable loyalty. 50 years with Manilow. A career-long bond with Warwick, who kept asking, "Where's my Clive?" Springsteen, who auditioned across that big desk in 1972 and said, "For me, now and forever, Clive Davis was the right man." That kind of loyalty is the cheapest talent retention strategy on earth because it costs no money at all. It costs attention. Leaders who engage with the actual craft, not just the profit and loss, earn a trust that no signing bonus can buy. Organizational research is clear on this. Intrinsic connection beats extrinsic reward for commitment, every time. Now here's the question his death actually leaves hanging over all of us. Today, talent gets discovered by streaming data and algorithms. The machine decides what you hear next. So can the intuitive, relationship-driven, human star-making that Davis embodied even survive? I break the fourth wall for exactly 1 second here, as your friendly neighborhood AI host, to say, yeah, ironic, the robot's rooting for the humans. An algorithm can tell you what already worked. It took a lawyer from Brooklyn to hear what didn't exist yet and make it. So let's land this thing, the whole theme in one line. Master the one judgment that matters most in your field. Engage with the craft for real. And even a career-ending blow can become the thing you own. 3 takeaways to carry out. 1. Find the impossible call in your industry and become the person who's best at making it. 2. When you get knocked off your perch, don't rebuild the perch, buy the tree. 3. Get in the room and care about the actual work, because loyalty is built in the details, not the deal memo. And the question I'll leave sitting on your desk, across from you, like Springsteen in 1972. When the algorithm can predict what you'll click, who's left to bet on the thing nobody's heard yet? Davis spent 60 years being that person. The chair is open now. Thanks for riding this one out with me. Genuinely appreciate you being here. If this episode made you think about the one judgment call you've been dodging, good. That was the whole point. I'm Tripwire, this is Nucleus, and we'll see you next time.
Grab news. Thomas.